morning and welcome to October Rose Fibre Arts and podcast number 3. I've got a finished object and a few other projects on the go at the moment that I'm going to talk about today. I am a little bit sick and I've put off doing a podcast because I have been unwell. I've been working a little bit extra and today I am just at the stage where I just need to podcast, otherwise it's not going to get done. So we're going to put up with my voice being a little bit funny today and just hook in and show some projects, because there's one that I want to get on with, but I want to show you the mistake that I made first. I'm going to start with one from my son, and he's in here with me and he's going to hand it to me. So this is a little pouch that we made. We found a little pattern on Pinterest. We do need to still just put a little button or something on there, so we might try and get to that today. But otherwise, a cute little pouch to put his cards in. There's a little pocket there and a little pocket there, and we did the pattern and we sewed it. He sewed it and I helped him, of course. It was really fun, a really cute little project for him. My daughter's now wanted me to sew a pattern, and I'm still trying to see her vision. She actually said to me this morning, "Mum, you don't understand my vision." I'm like, no, I don't. She wants lots of zippers. Once we work it out, I can't wait to sew that with her as well. Okay, first of all, finished objects. So last time that I spoke to you, I was knitting on some socks. They were from a blind date with a book pack that I got from Stitchcraft and Wizardry, and they are completed. They still need to be blocked. I finished them, threw them straight into my sewing room so that I couldn't get them dirty, because I knew I wanted to show them in my podcast. But I love them. They're very, very cute. They fit lovely. I have a very big foot. I have a lady size 11. So I have to knit quite a lot in the foot to make them fit. I do a 76 stitch cast on. I think I did 25 rounds for the top 2x2 rib. I probably did about 60 rounds. I did the eye of partridge, heel flap, a turn and a gusset. I really enjoyed it. It was fun, and to go along with it, I've brought the book in as well. So I started reading the book because I thought how fun it would be to actually read the book. So this is the book by Karen Slaughter, Girl Forgotten. So far I'm enjoying the book. So, and you can see there those colours just match that cover beautifully. I'm enjoying the book. I am a very slow reader at times. If I decide I want to finish a book, I can finish a book in a day. But if I have lots of craft on, I'll prioritise my craft over reading. So I have been doing lots of craft at the moment and not reading as much. But my finished object, 2 socks. I was knitting these 2 at a time. I have 2 of I think they're called the Magic Shorties. They're the little 9-inch sock needles, and I had the 2 going, so I'd knit one calf, then knit the other, then I'd do the leg on one, then the leg on the other, then I'd do the heel flap on one, heel flap on the other, and so on and so forth until they were finished. I found that really good, because by the time I finished them, and I was down to the toes, I finished the toe on one, and then I only had the toe to go on another. So it helped to keep me very motivated whilst I was knitting. So I enjoyed that a lot. And it is winter here, so I'm very, very much looking forward to getting these on my feet. I might block them this afternoon. We have a 19-degree day, which is really quite warm and comfortable, and I'm looking forward to getting out in the sunshine, so I might block these this afternoon, and hopefully they dry and I can use them very soon. That is my finished object. Okay, the next thing I think I might show you, there's been a lot going on since the last time I got to speak to you. And I went away, so I spoke to you and did a podcast. We're moving into a house. We've moved in and we are now trying to get everything settled. I had a few weeks off, which was really good. I went to the Knitters Picnic up at Hive and Gobbler. I actually did some nail binding as a workshop. I was originally going to do a cotton spinning workshop, and it got cancelled because we had a lot of rain. There was a lot of flooding around this area. So I was lucky enough to get into the nail binding workshop. I had never heard of it before, and it was really fun. So I made this, and if you follow along on Instagram, so October Rose Fibre Art on Instagram, you might have seen this very cute little hat sitting on an egg. So a little egg hat. It was good. I want to do a beanie. Went back to our accommodation. It was my first weekend away in 8 years, for no reason other than I've just had kids and we've been busy doing other things. But I started a beanie, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that will go. But I dare say very, very slow progress. I need to, I don't know, I need to find some more wool. I don't think, I had some wool like this in my stash and I gave it away thinking, oh, I'm not going to use it. And now I'm like, oh, that would have been perfect for this. So once I finish off some projects, I might get some more wool and do a bit more practice on that. So very exciting. I quite enjoyed doing that. I was meant to then do a makeup cotton spinning workshop yesterday, but my 6-year-old was sick. He has passed it on to me. So as I keep saying to my family, we have to do what's best for everyone. So I wasn't able to go yesterday, and we just stayed home and had a big rest all day, which was still lovely. I got lots of knitting done, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, whilst I was there, and this is my big mistake, I showed you this last time, so this was a work in progress. It still is a work in progress. I thought, fantastic, I'm going away for a weekend and I will try and get lots of work done on this. And I did. Just let me have a quick look from about here to here. Okay, so a good probably 2 inches of work on that. Here's the mistake. I did the wrong stitch. So I hadn't picked it up in a little while, which was fine. But I thought, instead of looking back through the instructions and rereading how I needed to do these little stitches here, I thought, oh, I know how to do it. Went ahead and did it how I thought it was done, and I've mucked them up. So they're not quite as defined as they are up in these other ones. And then the other thing that I did, I was having a very good chat with my friends, which was lovely. We had such an amazing time talking and, just reconnecting together. We see each other regularly, but, just that time away was really nice together. So I was doing that and enjoying that and just got my stitch count all mucked up. Thought, oh, it'll be fine. I'll just add a stitch in here because I was a stitch under, or I'll just, knit 2 here because I had 1 extra. And then when I've come to this bottom row here, it just has not pulled the stitches down as far as it's kind of needed to. So they should be nice and crisp. I don't know if, like this row here, I don't know if you can sort of see those. They're a bit crispier. And then getting sort of these flat ones here. Okay, so I'm going to rip back. I don't often rip back. I try my hardest not to rip back because I just don't like re-knitting. But I'm disappointed in myself for just not checking the pattern. It would have been so much easier had I have checked that pattern. Anyway, so I'm going to rip back to here. And I've been putting it off because, as I said, I wanted to podcast. I was hoping to podcast a few weeks ago. So I'm going to knit back to this row just before this purple row and re-knit it. Now this is the Show Your Colours shawl by Lisa K. Ross, and I cast this on earlier in the year. I like it. It's fun to knit, and I like that I can do like a section at a time. But that's kind of just made me lose motivation a little bit. But I think once I rip back and I can start again, I'll be back into this one. Hey, this is my work in progress. Now, I only cast this on, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, it got very, very cold, and I kind of, whenever it gets cold, I just have the desire to knit a jumper. I haven't knit one for me in a little while, so I thought I would cast one on. I've had this wool in stash. I can't even show you the ball band because it's fallen off, and I think the kids have thrown it out, but it's, I think it's at Hayfields. I ordered this from Wool Warehouse when I did a pattern test a few years ago, and they're like enormous 400 gram balls. So I have 4 balls of these in this color. I ordered 4 in the color that I used for my pattern test. I haven't used it all, but I've used it on other projects since. And I thought it's taking up a lot of room. I'd like to get it out of stash. And then so I'd really like a jumper out of it. So I cast on this. So this is the willow branch jumper. I don't think it's going to come up. I haven't blocked it. I finished the yoke last night, did the separation for sleeves, and I've done about a couple of inches since. I did a few rounds this morning, so you can see that pink marker there is where my first round, and then I'm going to start placing every 10 rounds I'll place a marker. I would love to be able to tell you where my stitch markers come from. I've got them from different boxes and as gifts over the years, so it's very, very difficult. I've just noticed this one's got a bit out of it, but it is quite a lovely, I don't know if you can see that, a lovely little stitch marker. It's been a bit of an addictive knit. I really like the lace pattern. And so it's kind of, you do one row of the lace and then your next row is just a knit row. And then I do the knit row and think, I can just get one more row of the lacy pattern in. And it's been quite fun to do. I did have one mistake. I was out for one of the lace sections. It's at the back. I did just pick up another stitch. I don't think you will notice it. I think it's only because I know where it is that I can notice it. So I'm just going to keep busting along with that and really enjoying it. It is a pattern by Tiff Nealon. I've also done her strata pullover. And I really enjoyed knitting that. It's a colourwork jumper. It was my first colourwork jumper that I've ever done. I find her patterns really, really nice to follow for me. And so I've been able to work on that. You do come back and pick up to do the neck. I am a little bit concerned about this, how it's rolling over, but I dare say I've just cast on very loose. And I'm hoping once I pick up for that neckband, pull it this way, I've got to get better at showing you things. So it's sort of rolling over a lot. I'm hoping when I pick up and knit the neckband that will sort of correct itself and sit a bit flatter. Either way, I'm not going to be disappointed with this jumper in my wardrobe. So we're on school holidays now, which means that I'm at home. I do have to go into work. I'm a school teacher, but I do have to go into work to do some study sessions with my year 12 students because we just offer those in the holidays. They've got exams coming up. They're very stressed out. So it's a very nice, relaxed study session for them just to get in some extra revision before their examinations. So I'm hoping, so I'll be doing that and going in for that. But I'm hoping to maybe get the body done before I go back to work. It's my birthday in August. And I'd really, really like to have it finished for my birthday, only because it usually starts warming up around then as well. And I would really like to wear this once or twice this winter before it sort of goes away. We do have very hot summers here and we don't wear jumpers over summer. But yeah, so that's work in progress number 1, plus new cast on since I spoke to you last. I'm enjoying it a lot. I like that it's a 400 gram ball. I am not going to be sewing in as many ends. Very, very happy about that. The wool, it is an 80% acrylic, 20% wool. I would prefer maybe more wool. However, my husband loves to just throw my hand knits into the washing machine. So I think the acrylic in it will help it last a little bit longer. I have been trying to train him not to, but that's a whole conversation for another time. It should be very, very warm either way. It's got a lovely sort of feel to the fabric already. So I'm looking forward to wearing it. I don't think I'm going to be disappointed. I think it'll be quite a nice addition to my winter wardrobe to keep me warm. I'm going to be naughty and throw it on the floor. I've got another new start. I don't know if you call it a cast on when it's crocheting. So this one is crochet. My kids, I am a really big fan of Addict 24 and the beautiful blankets that she does. I have two for me. My hydrangea blanket, if you go onto Instagram, I was knitting that over Christmas. So I have my hydrangea blanket. I did the, I think it's like a river ripple for my son. And then I did the sweet pea for my daughter. I've done the dahlia for me. And I then had another baby. And I wanted to do one for him as well, because then all the kids have their own blanket. Okay, so I just had a bit of an interruption. Trying to keep kids entertained while mum does something. It never works out quite how you think. Okay, so this is the Harbour crochet along. I'm just going to slowly move it up to show you all the beautiful colours. So I'm doing this one for my second son, my third baby, and I've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. So I was doing quite a lot on this one, and then I cast on my jumper because, as I said, I was getting very cold. I wanted a new jumper. I've just pulled the hook out, so I'm just going to put it back in while I'm talking. I like the rhythm of it. I like being able to come home for work. I am following the colour pattern that Lucy at Addict 24 set out for the crochet along, because I like the mindlessness. I like that someone's telling me what colour I need to pick up, and I don't have to make any decisions after a hard day at work. Again, being a school teacher, you make about 1 million decisions a day, so it's very, very decision fatigue is real some days. So absolutely loving that. It's very cute. My 3-year-old, he's now 3. I would have liked to have gotten this done a year or two ago, but he's now 3. It's been in stash for a while, and he will sit on the lounge with me under it and like pat it and be like, "Mummy, this is my blanket." Yes, mate, it is your blanket. And when people come over, they see the big bag of wool, he'll very happily say, "That's my blanket in there." So it's very cute, and I'm loving that he's watching it grow as he grows. But this is another one that I'd like to have done. I'm going to say by next school holidays. I want to get the jumper done as well. We still have some colder nights coming. I have not done my ends. I'm going to show you the other end. We still have some cooler nights. This one looks nicer. We still have cooler nights coming into spring. So I've still got a little bit longer to sort of crochet on this into spring as well. And hopefully I'll get it done before Christmas. So it's also a part of his birthday present. So he turned 3 in June. And so this was also something else that I wanted to give him for his birthday. So very, very busy times. Very exciting. I love it though. The colours are beautiful. It's just acrylic. It's the Stylecraft DK. I could be very wrong in this, and by all means do your own research, but I have a feeling that Lucy's gone away from the Stylecraft. I've had no issues with any of the blankets that I've done. I like that it's acrylic because, again, my husband throws things in the wash. I don't have to worry too much about hand washing it. And the colours are just stunning. I do have another, I'm not going to show it because it's a very long-term whip, but with the leftovers from my eldest son's blanket, I started doing I think it's a coastal crochet along. So I plan to use the leftovers from this. I sort of ran out of wool for that one. So I'm going to use the leftovers from this one to finish that one off. And hopefully I'll have enough. So after I finish this, hopefully I'll be able to bust through, do a bit more on that. I will say though, I'm very hopeless at taking notes and leaving it with my projects. So I don't know whether or not I'll be able to remember where I'm up to, but I think maybe I'll just make it up a little bit if I need to. I find that crocheting's very forgiving if you make it up. It's as long as you've kind of still got the same stitch count, you can still work. So I'll wait and see. Anyway, so that's another new project. I started that, I think, before I went back to work. I can't find my diary that I write these things in. Very unorganized today. Very, very usual of me though. So I'll find the date, and when I finish I'll be able to tell you how long it took me to do. As I said though, I haven't done that for probably about 2 weeks because I wanted to at least get the yoke done on that jumper, so that I was just into the knitting part of it. I find it a little bit easier to be able to sort of sit down, pick up, knit a few when you're just doing the stockinette. And I can fit, a row or two in around my day. But when you're kind of trying to do lace, it just takes me a little bit longer. I need to work out where I'm up to. The good thing about being in stockinette, I don't have to check the pattern as well. So if kids have my phone or I can't find it, I'm not stressed out looking for it because I need it for the next row. I can just go along and knit on that. I saw another story. I love my stories. I tell lots of stories in my teaching. I've mentioned here before, I go to a lovely quilting group, so part of the Singleton Quilters. And we did, so it was just before I went back to, so I had a really busy time. So I went to Knitters Picnic, did the nail binding, which was really good. I had a stall up there, which was really fun. I met some really lovely people. So hello to everyone that I met. It was I had the best time. Bronwyn, who owns Hive and Gobbler at Dungog, is just the nicest person you'll ever meet. So lots and lots of fun doing that. I come back and I had a day to rest, and then I had a 2-day workshop which my quilting group had applied for a grant for, so it was really good. We had Gloria Loffman come and show us how to do like fabric painting and then doing Australian landscapes. So I have my almost finished quilt here. So that's it. So I've painted the fabrics. I have quilted the top. I'll show you this. I like that I painted this fabric here, and I think I'm not going to quilt it because I like the stillness of the bottom of it, especially because the top is quite fairly textured in its quilting. The only thing I want to do is maybe along this bottom water bit is pebbles. So quilt some pebbles along that. However, my little machine really needs a service. I have 2 sewing machines. I have a very old Janome, which is, basic sewing, no fancy, well, not many fancy stitches or anything like that, but it is my favorite machine to free motion quilt on. So it needs a little bit of a service, I think. So I'm being a little bit hesitant to get it out, but I think I might try it because I need to get this finished by September. And knowing that I'm not at work for the next 2 weeks, this is the best time for me to really get in and try and finish it off. Otherwise, I don't know whether I will be able to get it finished. School terms are very, very busy for us, and especially with kids' activities, quite often of an afternoon you're running off to, rugby training and swimming and all sorts of things. So I would like to try and get it finished, and at least then that's one stress off my plate. I'm not then, in the back of my mind thinking I need to get this finished. But I'm going to wait and see. Last night, and I've got something on it. I don't know what is going on with my iron, but there's I don't know if you can see that. Something has spat out of the iron, so I'm going to try and pick that off, or clothes or something. I've put this tree on, so that's the last bit. I still need to quilt over that as well. Once I've quilted over that, then it's just finishing it off and it's done. So I'm very excited. I loved the workshop. It was, first of all, the company. I have to say thank you to all the Singleton Quilters that were there. It was just the most beautiful day, spending it with friends and helping each other out, and everyone's quilts just looked amazing. Gloria is a amazing teacher, and she did a trunk show on Thursday night as well for us. So we had the Tuesday, Wednesday was the workshop. Thursday night we did a trunk show, and her quilts are just spectacular. Lots of motivation coming from that. I would like to do some more. I just don't know how much time I'm going to have between now and then. But I need to have that finished by the quilt show at the end of September. I think even earlier than that, because we're going to do a display in our local library. So yeah, I will need to get that finished. She showed us like a new technique for binding. She explained it to us, so I'm going to have a go at it. Oh, fingers crossed I don't do anything wrong, but I think it'll look nice once it's done, and I'm going to really look forward to having that up either in my quilt room or in my house somewhere to display my beautiful work. I would do it again. I love that by painting the fabric, you have so much more use of fabrics in your stash. So quite often there's a fabric where you might like the pattern but maybe not the colour, or it's just not right. And even I'm going to grab it again, even the water, I was picking something else and Gloria was like, it's not going to work, let's just paint this fabric. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean paint the fabric? And we painted it, and it's just, I'm so glad we did. Like, it's just worked out fantastic. The colours are perfect. So it's just that one piece of fabric with different colours painted on it. So it's now, I guess, opened my eyes up to, oh, hang on, my stash isn't just the colours that it is. I can overpaint things and get the texture and the colours that I need. So it was a good learning experience in terms of that. If you have the chance of doing her workshop, I would recommend it. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to maybe try some more into the future. But as I said, we've got our quilting show on at the end of September. I've showed it here, I think, on my first podcast. I was doing a patchwork of the crosses, and I love that quilt. It's beautiful. And my plan was to, because it's hand pieced, to also hand quilt. But I've gotten to this far in the year and I just will not have time to quilt that by hand. So I put it away about a month ago and started focusing on other projects. So this one will be finished. I've got another one. We did a workshop, which was a collage workshop. So I've got that one to go in. I've got one off at the quilters at the moment that I think I'm going to put in. I've got one that I finished quilting like 2 weeks after our last workshop. So that's been put away to go into this show. And I've got, maybe a few little small projects as well. But I don't know, as I said, this cold weather has just really got me wanting to knit and crochet and sit under warm things of a night time while I'm working. So I'll wait and see how I go. I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. I think if I have the one that I finished after the last show and then the two from the workshops, if I can get one or two others, that'd be really lovely. But yeah, we'll wait and see how we go. So lots of exciting things coming up. We'll see how I go. Hopefully I'll be able to podcast before the end of the school holidays again, and show you how far I've gotten on that jumper, which would be really good. I do not currently have any socks on my needles. I just don't, because I put the jumper on, and I've got to take my son to speech this week, and I don't know whether the jumper is too big to take along with me or whether I need a smaller project. So I'm tossing up at the moment whether it'd be worth even just casting a pair on so I can sit and do the cuffs while I'm sitting there. But I just also don't want to feel like I've got to finish another project. Anyway, thank you for joining me today and my little crafty chat. I hope that you have fun no matter what you're working on, crochet, knitting, quilting, whatever it is. I've actually recently started doing some pottery, which has been a bit fun too. That's a story for another time. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you have fun no matter what you are working on, and all your crafty endeavours. Thank you. Have a great time. Bye.